Number 2. The tactics of drawing meaning from data display. There are many specific tactics for drawing meaning from the data display. 6 of them are as follows: noting patterns, seeing plausibility, clustering, making contrast or comparison, subsuming particulars into the general, making conceptual or theoretical coherent. 1. Noting patterns. When working with the text or initial display, you might find repeated patterns or themes that merge many separate pieces of data. The patterns finding are suitable for use when the case or data is massive. The researcher constructs the patterns from the observation of recurring phenomena. When using this tactic, the essential things are to see the added evidence of the same pattern and remain open to this confirming evidence when it appears. 2. Seeing plausibility. During the early stage of documentation of the analysis, researchers often found themselves giving plausibility as the basis for concluding. The plausibility is the initial impression that checks through the other tactics. When concluding the data display, you need to do the different tactic of drawing conclusion and verification. Most of the conclusions drawn during the analysis are substantive. 3. Clustering. Clustering applies to many qualitative data levels: level of events or acts, individual participants, processes, settings, sites, cases, periods, etc. The researcher tries to understand the phenomena by grouping and then conceptualizing the objects with similar patterns or characteristics by clustering. However, sometimes there is an overlap situation while grouping some patterns, which may become more complex. 4. Making contrast or comparison. The use of contrast or comparison in the qualitative study is a classic way to test conclusion and draw the difference between two sets of things: people, role, activities, variable, cases, that differ some other essential aspects. When the researcher uses these tactics, she or he needs to ensure that the comparisons are the right ones and make sense. 5. Subsuming particulars into the general. In this tactic, the researcher categorizes a particular action, event, participant, state into a more abstractly defined class. This class may have been predefined or emerged from coding and analytic memo. subsuming particulars into general is a conceptual and theoretical activity. The researcher needs to go back and forth between the first level data and more general categories that evolve and develop until the category is saturated. 6. Making conceptual or theoretical coherent. The researcher needs to work from the bottom up, from the field to the concept. The steps are to establish the discrete finding, relate finding to each other, name the pattern, and identify the corresponding construct. Sometimes the researcher must work from the top-down conceptual framework to collecting information to test validity. However, it may be best to say open to the inapplicable concept or discard it when you see the data.